everyone, I want to talk a little bit about how I scored 150 on my Duolingo English test. So the full score for Duolingo is 160. The Duolingo English test is a test that is primarily used for universities or high school applications. However, it's not accepted worldwide because it's not as high with regards to standardized testing as some of the other tests such as IELTS and TOEFL. And actually, the rubric is also designed a little bit differently. So first, let's talk about the breakdown of the test. The test tests you in 4 different sections. Number 1 is literacy. This is looking at your ability of reading and writing. Number 2 is comprehension. This looks at how well you read and listen. Number 3 is conversation, and this looks at your ability to listen and speak. Number 4 is production, and this is in the criteria of writing and speaking. So this is why the final scores are not necessarily an average of the subscores. Each of the subscores is also worth 160 points, so you can get anywhere from 0 to 160. Some subparts are actually worth more than others. Now let's talk about how I prepared for the test. I actually only had 1 week to fully intensely prepare for the test. Obviously, I have an English speaking background, but on top of that English speaking background, I wanted to get used to the test. So I would say that getting used to the test would only take around a week or 2 as long as your English is at a fluent level. And I did around 8 to 10 mock tests throughout that time. Duolingo is a platform that provides you with mock tests and all the preparation material that you would need, so you never should buy any other external materials. But if for whatever reason the Duolingo mock test platform does not work, you could try to look for other free mock Duolingo tests, and there are various websites out there. English is not at a fluent level yet. I would say that the test might be a little bit difficult because you need a good basis of English because it tests you on everything. This test is very unique as it's all online, and right after you've taken the test, you're graded by AI to go through the answers first, but of course there are speaking parts and writing parts that a human would have to later check. Duolingo actually continuously comes up with new forms of questions, so you cannot prepare it in the way that you prepare for IELTS or TOEFL, which always stays the same. This is why I said that you should never look for any other paid resources to prepare for the Duolingo test because the Duolingo website contains everything that you would ever need. But of course, the most important step is first to get your English up to that level, and to do that, the best way is to use the Duolingo website because the test is really basically based off of that. Now let's talk about the sign-up process. The Duolingo English test costs around $70 US, and once you've bought it, you can take it anytime within 30 days. And you need to buy it around 72 hours before the test for you to actually take it. And once you have completed the test, the scores come out in around 2 days, but you can pay for I think an extra $40 for it to come out in 12 hours. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to Duolingo because that's what I did. Because at first I did not know that the subscores were not averaged, and so I was very confused as to why I got the lower part of my score when I could have gone like an upper bound. And so it's very important to reach out and to ask any questions because it will clarify anything for you. So I think for any native speaker, I think the Duolingo English test is probably very easy for you guys because it's honestly not that big of a test, and it's not that big of a deal either. And it's also very cheap as compared to many of the other tests. But I would say that it's getting used to the format, and so I would say at least take 10 to 15 mock tests before you take the actual exam so that you have a good practice and you have a good idea of what's on the test, because the test is very unique. It's structured in a very different way than any of the other tests that I've taken. Yeah, and good luck everyone. I hope you also score a 150 or even higher on the Duolingo English test.